Hey guys, I'm Forrest Powell with Sweetwater Sound, and this is Matt Walsh. Is it MatthewMixes.com?
Matthew Mixes is my website, kind of brand sort of thing.
So we got to mention that. I've been working with Matt for about 10 years here, and I had the privilege, he threw me an email and invited me out to a show. He's doing front of house for War on Drugs, and I came out here and ran into just another guy, Rich Maloney, that I've worked with for like 15 years, so basically my whole career at Sweetwater. So I'm convinced of the very small world that is professional audio production.
Absolutely.
And Matt is one of my longest standing and like favorite guys to talk to, so I'm just glad to get to come out and meet him again. But yeah, tell me about this. Tell me about tonight.
So I've been working with these guys for about 5 years at this point. Joined on with the Deeper Understanding tour in 2018 as the stage patch tech. So I was handling all the microphones, all of the cables, XLR, power, you name it. If it was a cable on the stage, that was what I was handling and making sure that everything got plugged in and was well maintained every day. And then filled in on some shows doing monitors because our engineer, Lawrence Eves, he wasn't able to do a couple of the shows, so I jumped in on that kind of seat. And then this record cycle came around and I got asked to do front of house, and so here we are. And we've been on tour basically since the start of this year in 2022. We've done a bunch of US runs and a bunch of European runs as well. So it's been a long run so far this year. Still a lot of bunch shows coming up. Yeah, it's been great, and handling a bunch of different gear. The band really likes to try out different things day to day, so constantly trying new pieces of equipment, new microphones, keeping it fun for us as well, trying to change things up. So.
And you mentioned that, like when we were on stage, you said just kind of off the cuff about how, and this is where it's really honest, you were just like saying how everybody has a lot of fun and they're excited to be on tour.
Totally.
And that's just kind of not always in my experience the case. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a grind, but it's really nice to hear that, because as just a consumer of that stuff and going to shows and listening to music and doing the amateur hour stuff like in the bedroom recording setup.
Yeah.
I love coming out and seeing this kind of a professional rig and seeing, like the master bus processor on a live rig, and seeing these guys like take it up to just a really, really high-end level, and which is just really evident in the sound too, because as soon as they play a couple of riffs through and they're, singing to the mics, you can tell that there's something a cut above about it. And I think that's, I mentioned in the email to you, like calling you the fifth Beatle. Like I really do think that the front of house mix just governs a huge amount of what everybody comes to hear.
Totally.
And it's a big responsibility. So I hope nothing goes wrong. But it's a lot of fun to see like the glimpse into the on stage and everybody's individual rigs and how you're syncing that together. It's just it's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah, I mean we all get into music, I feel like, because it's fun, and so it's trying to make everything that's happening on stage a really fun thing, and everything's super immediate, so everyone's trying to find pieces of equipment that it's easy to manipulate something quickly, but it also sounds really good, and hopefully is a cut above what is just the default thing that you would buy in that level. It's trying to find either the vintage pieces of gear or the weird pieces of gear that like allow us to do something like syncing different guitar sounds together, or using a higher quality microphone than normally you would use live. We have a lot of microphones that traditionally you would see in a studio that are, we try to avoid some of just like the general, what everyone else goes for, just partially cut for the fun of it, because it's just fun to use something that's different. Everyone's, using the same thing, so it's fun to try something else.
Well, you said and we'll leave the brand out of it because I don't want to impugn, one of our manufacturers, but they have this kind of game that they play with one of them where they try to avoid like, a household name of this brand on stage for this microphone, like because that's just what everybody does is they put this on a snare, this on a cab, this on this, and that's really cool because you get a lot of different like, if it's a big palette on stage, you have a lot more colors in like these different manufacturers and different types of microphones. And it's amazing how much that stuff can impact the overall performance of the venue and how it influences the band. It's almost like funny to me. Now funny because I don't have to like deal with it every day, but not it being my profession, I get to hear, the kind of back and forth between the musicians and between you kind of discussing that happy medium of just what what it's going to sound like and
Yeah.
how we get there.
Yeah.
And even just whether the amps are tilted back or whether
Yeah.
we're just going to cook everybody.
Yep.
You know, I like hearing those conversations
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, at the end of the day, everyone's trying to have, the band's trying to have a good time. We're trying to, let them have a good time while it also, sounds good, and they can hear what they need to hear. That's a whole other portion of, the whole stage monitoring side of things. They got to be able to be happy to play well. So I always, it's leaning on a monitor engineer to make sure that they're happy. And then, hopefully if everything's all comes together, it's the perfect situation. But it's fun with these guys because they change it up. So it's never the same situation. Something's different every day. Somebody goes out and buys a new piece of equipment, new pedal, something, and we're implementing it
You're
right
a good
away.
sport to call that fun. That's good of you.
Yeah,
to do.
well, it's, it keeps if you're just dialing up the same thing every day, it gets, kind of mundane almost. And so it's fun to kind of constantly have little pieces of equipment that make stuff fun to try out. I mean, there's so much gear too. It's fun to try a different piece of equipment every day, a different microphone, whatever. Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for your time. Matt, it was really a pleasure to see you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely.
Me and Nick are going to have a great time watching. It sounds ridiculously good as I expected, and hopefully we can do like a Zoom or something like that soon, and just kind of, I know we ran out of time.
Yeah.
This guy cut the PA for us so we could do this little outro here, which just you're an accommodating dude.
Gotta open up the doors, but yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It's a pleasure having you guys here, and
So-
I'm really pumped.
Thanks so much, and we'll let people come in and see the band now. They
Awesome.
didn't come to see me.
Hey,
so
man, appreciate it.
awesome.
Very
Thanks,
much.
Matt.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Take care.